Well, this is going to be great, isn't it? Because today we are talking about the two top dogs on the NHL Speculation Station. In a tweet made by the Mug NHL, which went semi-viral yesterday, take a look at this. We have ourselves word from Pierre LeBrun on Toronto Maple Leafs captain Auston Matthews and Edmonton Oilers captain Connor McDavid, because both of these guys are in pretty interesting spots. Let's just get into the context before we dive into the actual update here. Auston Matthews in Toronto is faced with a team that has the first overall pick, but a team that underperformed severely this previous season. Yes, it's true, Gavin McKenna will be coming in here and bringing in a new era, but with a new Gavin McKenna also comes a new head coach and a new GM and new executive staff and new direction. I think that's the biggest thing that the Toronto Maple Leafs are going to have to fully nail down. It is the direction of the team. Do they want to go out there and rebuild? Are they going to execute a retool? Is Auston Matthews going to be the face that runs the place, or is he going to wish out of Toronto and go to a team that's a lot more contender-friendly in the big old 2026? There is a chance that with the direction of the Maple Leafs, plus the fact that Auston Matthews was taken out by Radko Gudas and his teammates did not defend him against the Anaheim Ducks many moons ago, those two things could both contribute to a potential Matthews departure. Maybe one of those things a little bit more than the other, but still, there have been discussions about Auston Matthews' future and whether or not the Radko Gudas thing in particular contributed to any sort of a thought that goes on that path. Meanwhile, Connor McDavid is part of an Edmonton Oilers team that underperformed as well. Guess what? They made the finals twice in a row. This season, though, they could not even get past the first round. And that is not to discredit what the Anaheim Ducks have been able to do. But the Oilers, they're a powerhouse. And with Bouchard, Draisaitl, McDavid, when you take a look at even the goaltending, Stuart Skinner's a guy that everybody knows he is not great, but he was still able to at least backstop the Oilers to back-to-back Stanley Cup Finals appearances. The hump is real for the Edmonton Oilers, and in a season where Florida missed the playoffs, you could have debated that this was the best chance Edmonton had to win the Stanley Cup. And what does Stan Bowman do? Oh, he goes out there and gets Tristan Jarry, who isn't even the starter by the time playoff time comes around. And the Oilers disappoint. They get banged up a little bit here and there. Connor McDavid is hurt, and they don't end up getting past round one. I, like many others, thought the Oilers would be doing all right, especially since Draisaitl was coming back from his own injury. I predicted the Oilers to win the Cup in my bracket over the Boston Bruins, but we all know how that's not going down. Connor McDavid is signed on till the end of 2028, making $12.5 million a year. It's a really great contract for the Oilers, but it gives McDavid a lot of power. If at any point Connor McDavid feels like he is not in a place where he can win, then he could be asking out as well. And that's exactly what Pierre LeBrun's latest goes out there and talks about. Here's a tweet from the Mug NHL that dives into it. Auston Matthews and Connor McDavid are most likely staying put for at least another season, but neither of these guys can yet commit 100% to that. For starters, both of their teams still need to hire a new head coach. That's going to be a factor. LeBrun continued, the Oilers' moves over the next 5 or 6 weeks are important to monitor before McDavid and his agent, Moldaver, sign off for next season. So, I really like the way that Pierre worded this. Matthews and McDavid are probably going to come back, at least for another year, but neither of these guys can commit to it. You're not asking Auston Matthews on this day, June 4th, 2026, you're not asking him, hey, are you playing in Toronto next season? And he's going to give you the 100%, yeah, buddy, I'm playing in Toronto next season. He can't even do that. There is still room for doubt. Now, for what it's worth, I do agree with the overall sentiment that says McDavid and Matthews are most likely going to play for the Oilers and Leafs next season. I think that's probably like a 95 percentile chance thing that can happen. But the fact that the idea of them leaving isn't completely unreasonable, irrational, or unbelievable at this stage, that's the biggest thing to me. It's like, we can look at McDavid and Matthews and say, hey, both of these guys are not in the best spots right now, and they're both so talented, and they can both demand to go elsewhere, and it would be totally valid for them to do that. Would that not be something you store into the back of your mind subconsciously, so you could dig it up maybe 2, 3, 4 months later, just in case something happens? Just in case the Edmonton Oilers don't address their goaltending in the offseason, and just in case Connor McDavid's like, dude, what is this? We're still running it back with Jari? Get this guy off the team, he's a bum. We're still running it back with Darnell Nurse? You're not going out there and getting some better defenders? What's going on with this team, man? I want out. And if I want out, then Leon Draisaitl is also going to want out too. Okay, we do not need to go down that entire train of thought. But you get what I mean, right? I'd say with Auston Matthews, maybe it's a little more precarious because not only did the Leafs lose out on the playoffs, period, but you're also rubbing salt in the wound every time you open up the TV to Sportsnet and you see Mitch Marner doing the things that he's doing with the Vegas Golden Knights in the playoffs, in the finals, nevertheless. For Auston Matthews, there also is that humiliation element where it's like, yeah, no, this is the team that I'm captaining, but nobody stood up for me when Radko Gudas took me out. They only stood up like days later in a situation that the hockey world was laughing at this team for. I mean, yeah, it's true. You did have the fights on Gudas afterwards. You got Domi, you got Riley going out there and trying to make things right and set a standard that Toronto Maple Leafs players are not to be messed with, and if you take out one of them, the rest of the team is going to get up all in your grill. But it was like a day or 2 or 3 games too late. And that's the pathetic part about it. It's like, oh, well, you needed your captain to get taken out with a big knee-on-knee hit in order for you to start acting like that. Okay, fantastic. And there was lag on that as well. You didn't do that right away. You all let the media and the fans go out there and voice their displeasure before you started doing it as a repercussion. And it was like, all right, well, what do these other teams have to do with it? I understand Domi fought Gudas, and that was an entire thing, but you're lucky. The Toronto Maple Leafs and the Anaheim Ducks ended up playing off against each other one more time before the season came to an end, right? These two teams are on the opposite side of the league. So, yeah, one Pacific Southwest team and one Atlantic Northeast team. The fact that they were even playing twice that late into the season, it's kind of, oddly coincidental, but still. For Auston Matthews, this is going to be an interesting set of months here. For Pierre LeBrun, going out there and highlighting how these two guys could get traded, I do think it bleeds into a bigger conversation about some of the other guys that have the possibility of getting moved. I'm thinking Connor Hellebuck, if he ends up doing the All-American wants to leave Canadian team thing, maybe he does that. Brady Tkachuk could also be on his way out. Could Quinn Hughes get traded again if Bill Guerin is not confident that guy's going to re-sign? If not Quinn Hughes, what about Luke Hughes? There are a number of names that you could say realistically enter the trade block when really diving into it, and Auston Matthews and Connor McDavid are two of the biggest ones. So with all that said, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about Pierre LeBrun's assessment here that neither McDavid nor Matthews have decided 100% what their plans are for this upcoming season? I hope you enjoyed this video. Sign on, and bye.